My name is Michael Alcorn. I've been a crew member at Trader Joe's for nearly 10 years. Thank you for allowing me to share my experiences with the Trader Joe's United Union at my store in Hadley, Massachusetts. Prior to the campaign, I had no firsthand experience with unions. My only thought on unions was that they looked like a positive unifying force. The realities I experienced both during and since the union campaign were not positive nor unifying. From the beginning of the campaign, everything was very one-sided. The organizers used with us or against us tactics that did not promote all voices, but only the union position. I first heard about the unionization efforts from a coworker in May of 2022. They told me our conversation must be kept confidential or people might get fired. I responded that I didn't think we needed a union, but I'd be willing to talk about it. The organizer then told me that all we need to initiate a union election was for 30% of the store to say they'd be willing to have a union election, and then we could talk about it. I stated that I would support an election because I thought that there would be some sort of a meeting where we would all get together and discuss this. That never happened. A few days later, the organizers petitioned for an election, claiming they had majority support and that Trader Joe's should recognize this union without a vote. This would have forced many of my coworkers into a unionized environment without any prior knowledge or the ability to be a part of making that decision. I was lied to by the organizer. They misrepresented what was really needed in order to have a union election, which is 30% support for a union, not an election. To this day, I wonder how many of my coworkers might have gotten the same deceptive pitch and signed union cards. The day the petition was filed, the organizers made inaccurate and incomplete press releases, creating false narratives about our workplace to promote their own agenda and personal vendettas. We did not appreciate these few coworkers portraying our workplace in a negative light. It was extremely disheartening and embarrassing. Our customers were supportive of our rights to organize, which we appreciated, but we wanted them to know that the union campaign was not representative of all of us. I asked the organizer why they didn't come speak to all of us about our experiences before putting out a one-sided video. They said they had to do it this way and that you have to surprise the boss when organizing a union. This really upsets me because up to this point I worked in a positive, civil, and respectful workplace. It wasn't just surprise the boss, it was organize in secret and surprise your coworkers, and then make them feel like if they don't vote for the union, they don't care about their coworkers. When some of us attended an informational gathering hosted by the organizers to ask questions, we were promptly called anti-union. Some coworkers were told that they might be racist if they don't vote for the union. It became clear that not only was the union going to attack Trader Joe's, they were attacking the credibility of any member of the collective in opposition to unionization. Anyone speaking up was smeared by the organizers as moles for the company, incapable of having any credible concerns or independent agency. After an organizer realized I wasn't on board, they told me that they couldn't answer any more of my questions because they needed to focus on the people who would help them win. I called the NLRB, expecting them to be able to offer some advice and to see if the organizers had any duty to disclose information that would be relevant to their representing me should they win. The NLRB agents told me that it makes sense that the organizers would only talk to the people who already support the union. Anyone voicing any concern was essentially excommunicated. We were made to feel as if we would not be represented if we were not on board before the vote. Many of us were devastated when the union won. People who were against the union were harassed in the parking lot after the results were announced. Shortly thereafter, with only selective notification, the union held an officer election. Only a quarter of the collective were present. Of those, a few handful voiced their concerns, having an election without notifying everyone. The union proceeded anyways. I was later told by a coworker that one of the organizers told them they purposefully didn't advertise the election so that they could get the right people in. When I spoke to the Department of Labor, I was told that while they do have strict rules to guarantee fairness in union elections, they could not guarantee fairness in this election because it was a new union. In my research, I couldn't find any oversight as to how a union creates a constitution, so it seems as if the union can elect whomever they want, however they want, and create the law and power structure of the union without the consent or even knowledge of the collective. All the intimidation and pressure has been a lot for us to take. We've begun to collect signatures to decertify this union. They've done nothing but be adversarial, misleading, exclusive, and discriminate against anyone who challenges or disagrees with them. It seems their only tactic is to paint Trader Joe's as a bad company while also seeking to silence those of us who don't agree. Supporting workers should mean supporting all workers, not just pro-union workers. Workers should never have representation imposed upon them. Not all unions are good. We are not dumb, and Trader Joe's didn't union bust us not to vote for this union. This was a bad faith union. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alcorn, thank you for being here. You mentioned in your testimony you tried to get basic pros and cons, both sides of the issue on unionizing Trader Joe's. How did Trader Joe's United organizers react to Trader Joe's crew members requesting information about the union?
As I stated in my testimony, they were pretty dismissive of us and were trying to silence our questioning as soon as they could, which is why I felt the need to call the NLRB, because I didn't really know what our rights were in this moment. They seemed to also intimidate our workplace into making us feel like we couldn't even discuss these issues with our mates in the store. And we have really good relationships in the Trader Joe's. It's a different setup than maybe other workplaces. And so it was really hard for us not to be able to have those conversations with our mates.
Okay, thank you. I hope in future your experience changes.
Thank
In
you.
a proper way. I yield back.
Mr. Alcorn, to follow up on that response, do you believe salting is deceptive, and what is your opinion of this practice?
Yes, I do believe it's very deceptive. I think there's no question about that. I think if people want to organize, they should do it in an official capacity, not in a deceptive or secretive way. I think workers deserve to know who they're working with and what their intentions are. That's workers' rights.
I want to thank you, and to reiterate, my Employee Rights Act provides essential protections for workers' rights, choices, and freedoms, including ensuring political and privacy protections and guaranteeing secret ballot elections.
Mr. Alcorn, during the Trader Joe's United campaign to organize your workplace, the union promised to be an independent union powered by crew members. Do you believe the union's leadership has lived up to this promise and given individual employees a voice in how the union operates?
I do not. This union has been riddled with secrecy. They go to the bargaining table without discussing what they're doing with any of us. I was getting mixed messages about something that did happen at the bargaining table from multiple union.
Will you pull that mic a little closer to you? There
Yes.
you go.
I was receiving conflicting messaging from union leaders about something that was going on in bargaining, and the union leaders said that anybody could come to the bargaining table. They wanted everybody to have a voice. So me and a few of my coworkers did attend the bargaining to observe what was going on, and we were not pleased with everything we were seeing, and we're discussing that with coworkers back in the store. And then the next time we went to observe the bargaining, they told us we couldn't be there. And when I asked why they had changed their mind on who could come to the bargaining, I asked the lawyer. They called hotel security on us to ask us to leave. We weren't disruptive at all. We were just there to observe what they had been doing. And they are not forthcoming with the information. They did not discuss the salaries they would be taking home. I found the financial documents on the Department of Labor website, and I asked people who are very close to the union leaders if they knew about the salaries that they'd be taking home, and they said, "What salaries?" And when I posted what these salaries were, the union president then said, nobody really cares about the salaries. This is a non-issue because we're not accepting dues. But I'm wondering why they think all the money that they're raising on representing us, they can just do whatever they want with.
Thank you very much.